When a bar exam tutor wants to improve performance among repeat New York bar exam candidates, which strategy best reflects adult learning principles? A. Delivering long lectures without interaction. B. Connecting exam topics to prior legal work experiences. C. Providing only memorization drills. Using uniform pacing for all learners. 2. When designing a curriculum for New York bar exam preparation, which step should be prioritized to ensure alignment with candidate needs? A. Selecting random subjects to add variety. B. Identifying content that historically appears on the exam. C. Using only the tutor's personal preferences. D. Eliminating feedback cycles to avoid confusion. 3. A mentor supporting bar exam candidates notices inconsistent essay performance. Which evaluation method would best diagnose the issue? A. Relying exclusively on multiple choice results. B. Conducting structured rubric-based essay assessments. C. Allowing candidates to self-score without guidance. D. Scoring based on writing length instead of content. 4. In a coaching session, a candidate says they struggle with civil procedure timing. Which communication method best supports improvement? A. Providing unclear general suggestions. B. Explaining expectations with step-by-step timed demonstrations. C. Avoiding direct feedback to reduce pressure. D. Only recommending more reading without structure. 5. When ensuring regulatory compliance during bar exam prep, which principle is essential? A. Guaranteeing passage by promising exam outcomes. B. Maintaining accurate ethical representations of exam content. C. Rewriting copyrighted exam questions verbatim. D. Allowing sharing of secure exam materials among students. A curriculum designer wants to increase retention of multi-state performance test strategies. Which principle of adult learning is most effective? A. Passive repetition without context. B. Immediate application through realistic simulations. C. Removing practice tasks to save time. D. Presenting concepts only through text-heavy slides. 7. A candidate prefers visual learning. Which instructional approach supports this preference? A. Dense text memorization lists. B. Color-coded procedural flowcharts. C. Completely auditory lectures. D. Unstructured group discussions. 8. A mentor evaluates a student's essay and provides corrective guidance. Which feedback style aligns with best practices? A. Vague comments such as improve analysis. B. Specific actionable notes tied to scoring criteria. C. Overly critical remarks without solutions. D. Avoiding areas of weakness to keep motivation high. 9. A New York bar exam instructor needs to assess mastery and evidence. Which method is most appropriate? A. Open-ended reflection journals. B. Timed practice essays using authentic patterns but original scenarios. C. Casual conversation about the topic. D. Asking candidates to memorize definitions without application. 10. Which curriculum development step ensures that instructional modules meet exam standards? A. Mapping content to the exam's published subject matter outlines. B. Designing topics unrelated to exam requirements. C. Creating lessons based solely on student entertainment. D. Eliminating formative assessments. 11. During mentoring, which behavior best models ethical professional conduct? A. Sharing confidential candidate performance data publicly. B. Using respectful, transparent communication. C. Providing unauthorized access to exam materials. D. Making exaggerated claims about pass rates. 12. A bar exam prep provider wants to measure improvement in essay structure. Which evaluation tool is best? A. Randomized guessing quizzes. B. Comparative scoring using standardized rubrics. C. Asking candidates to verbally describe rules without writing. D. Time-consuming tasks unrelated to essay format. 13. To support adult learners in managing stress before the exam, which instructional strategy is most effective? A. Ignoring emotional factors. B. Teaching structured planning and time management routines. C. Discouraging breaks to maximize study time. Requiring last-minute intense cramming. 14. An instructor notices that candidates are disengaged during long lectures. Which adjustment uses adult learning theory? A. Adding frequent interactive problem-solving tasks. B. Speaking faster to fit more content. C. Increasing lecture duration. D. Reducing opportunities for questions. 15. During curriculum evaluation, what is the best indicator that a bar exam prep module is effective? A. The instructor enjoyed teaching the topic. B. Candidate performance improved on comparable practice tasks. C. Candidates reported that the lesson was easy. D. The material covered an unrelated legal subject. 16. A mentor helping candidates with multistate essay exam writing should emphasize which communication technique? A. Deliver long explanations without examples. B. Use clear modeling of structured legal analysis. C. Avoid discussing weak areas. D. Replace writing practice with multiple choice drills only. 17. When creating assessments for bar exam prep, which practice aligns with quality evaluation methods? A. Including ambiguous questions that confuse learners. B. Aligning questions with measurable learning objectives. C. Designing items irrelevant to the exam. D. Excluding feedback to see who is naturally prepared. 18. A student struggles with integrating rule statements into essays. Which mentoring approach is most supportive? A. Assigning unrelated tasks to build confidence. B. Providing targeted drills and modeled examples. C. Telling the student to simply try harder. D. Avoiding structured practice to reduce pressure. 19. What is the most effective way to ensure curriculum materials remain current? A. Reviewing updated bar exam subject outlines regularly. B. Reusing outdated materials indefinitely. C. Ignoring changes announced by exam boards. D. Removing topics to shorten the course. 20. When giving performance feedback, which practice aligns with adult learning needs? A. Giving immediate, constructive, context-specific insights. B. Delaying feedback for several weeks. C. Providing only negative comments. D. Withholding improvement strategies. 21. Which instructional method best supports candidates preparing for the multi-state bar examination? A. Memorizing rules without application. B. Practicing exam-style scenarios with reasoning reviews. C. Avoiding timed practice until examinees feel ready. Focusing solely on essay formats. 22. A curriculum developer wants to increase student autonomy. Which feature best accomplishes this? A. Flexible study pathways with clear milestones. B. Mandatory uniform pacing for all learners. C. Removing practice options to limit complexity. D. Limiting learning resources to one format. 23. When mentoring candidates, which action strengthens motivation? A. Setting unrealistic goals to push performance. B. Helping candidates track progress toward achievable objectives. C. Criticizing students publicly. D. Ignoring small improvements. 24. A prep instructor wants to assess higher-order reasoning. Which activity is best? A. Matching terms to definitions. B. Analyzing complex hypotheticals using exam-style logic. C. Memorizing rule lists without practice. Repeating low-level recall tasks. 25. What is the most ethical response when a candidate requests leaked exam questions? A. Politely refuse and explain exam security rules. B. Provide them to help the student succeed. C. Suggest searching online for illegal materials. D. Ignore the request without explanation. 26. A bar prep program wants to support diverse learning styles. Which curriculum feature is most effective? A. Multiple modalities such as videos, outlines, charts, and simulations. B. One long textbook for all learners. C. Exclusively oral lectures with no visuals. D. Removing diagrams to simplify material. 27. An instructor wants greater engagement during evidence lessons. Which technique aligns with adult learning? A. Incorporating realistic courtroom scenarios. B. Reading textbook pages aloud. C. Restricting questions until the end of the week. D. Assigning only passive video watching. 28. A candidate consistently misreads multiple choice questions. Which mentoring strategy helps most? A. Teaching structured question deconstruction methods. B. Telling the candidate to be more careful. C. Removing multiple choice practice from study plans. D. Recommending longer question stems with more complexity. 29. When developing curriculum assessments, which principle should guide item creation? A. Every question should measure a clearly defined competency. B. Questions should be unrelated to learning goals. C. Items should be intentionally confusing. D. Questions should rely on obscure trivia. 30. A mentor evaluates performance on timed essays. Which criterion is most appropriate? A. Quality of legal analysis under realistic constraints. B. Writing style unrelated to legal reasoning. C. Length of essay regardless of substance. D. Entertainment value of the answer. 31. A bar prep provider wants to maintain professional communication. Which action supports this goal? A. Offering clear, respectful, supportive explanations. B. Using sarcasm to motivate candidates. C. Sharing student errors publicly for learning. D. Using overly technical language to appear expert. 32. A learner demonstrates gaps in understanding hearsay exceptions. Which instructional approach is best? A. Concept mapping paired with applied hypotheticals. Memorizing terms without examples. C. Skipping the topic entirely to avoid confusion. Providing unrelated content.